السلام الله عليكم ورحمة وبركاته. How are you all, my dear sisters? I hope you are all doing well. Well, inshallah, today we are going to continue the characteristics without objects, which are 8 in number. And today, inshallah, we are going to take the last characteristics of this book. So let's share the screen with you right away. Well, now you can see. Well, my dear sisters, today, inshallah, we are going to talk about a characteristic called the repetition or التكرير in Arabic. Repetition or التكرير in Arabic. First, let's read what's written in the book of Dr. Ayman Swaid, and then I'm going to explain it to you, inshallah. Repetition التكرير. It's a light trilling of the tongue when pronouncing the ra due its tight articulation point or makhraj. The reciter should be careful not to exaggerate the repetition, leading to the occurrence of more than one ra. What does this mean? Well, my dear sisters, the repetition, it's a characteristic in the body of the ra itself. When you say ar, the tip of the tongue will trill, but only once because of the tight articulation point. Remember the articulation point of the ra? This is here. Remember that we say that it's the tip of the tongue with the alveolar ridge or the gums, and we said what the tip of the tongue will be curved from both sides, from right and left, while the middle will lift free to allow part of the sound, not all the sound, because as we see, if you remember, we explained about al-inhiraf or drifting, part of the sound to pass through this tight articulation point. It's here, okay? So through this gap, the part of the sound will be bad. Part of the sound of the ra will be bad. That's why ra is an in-between letter or harfun bayni letter, because the sound is not flowing freely or it's not blocked totally. It's somewhere in between. Neither totally or freely flew, neither totally blocked. It's somewhere in between. That's why you call it in-between letter bayni letter, because of the drifting characteristic. And because of all those, the repetition will happen, because the sound will pass through very narrow, very tight articulation point, which is this. When all the sound will pass through this tight articulation point, the tip of the tongue will be trilled, but only once, not too much. If you trill it too much, if you trill the tip of the tongue too much, you will have more than one ra, and this is forbidden in the Arabic language. We say ar, ar, ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Allah. Okay? But if I close this gap, the tab will trill too much. And this will occur or will be the cause to have more than one ra. I will say it wrongly. Ar, ar, ar. This is not correct. So you must leave the gap. So you will trill only, the tab will be trilled only once. So you will have only one ra, and this is the correct Arabic one. If you close the gap, the tab will be trilled too much, and this will lead to the repetition more than it's needed. If you make the opposite, if you make this open, this tiny gap, very big, This tiny bag very big. This means you slightly, you do not make complete contact here, all through the yellow parts. You make it only to here, only to here. I need to use a pen. Okay. If you make it only to here and here, and you left all this area free, this will lead to here, the English R. Because in such a case, this tab will be curved automatically. R, R, this is the English R. So pay attention. This only, the tiny gap, must have only this tiny gap to pronounce the proper Arabic R. R, 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 there is trilling, but only once. Not R, not R, R. I didn't leave a gap. R, I make the gap open more than it's needed. Both are wrong. Okay? So pay attention, my dear sisters. Pay attention kindly. Repetition happen only once. There is very slight trilling, very light trilling happen. If you close the gap, the trilling will be too much, and this will lead to here more than one ra. If you leave it open, the gap more than it's needed, you will pronounce English R, and this will not be correct. So this is the repetition. Repetition is light trilling. More than it's needed, it's forbidden. More than it's needed, it's forbidden. And if you do not have it at all, also it's forbidden. So light trilling. So repetition or التكرار is a characteristic which is talking about light trilling of the tongue when pronouncing the ra due to its tight articulation point, as we explained. Do not trill too much, and I told you how you will commit this mistake. Okay? Okay. Let's talk about the next one, which is التفشي or spreading. التفشي or spreading. What is the meaning of التفشي or spreading? Let's read it first, and then I will explain. It is the spreading of the sound of sheen, starting from its articulation point until the sound collides with the inner plates of the top and lower teeth, or the upper and lower teeth. Tafashy or spreading, my dear sister, is a characteristic related to sheen only. As takrir is for ra only. Tafashy is for the letter sheen only. This is how we pronounce the sheen. It's, if you remember, from the middle part of the tongue with what is parallel to it from the roof of from the roof of the mouth, or the palate of the mouth. Okay. Of course, we leave a gap, because if you remember, jim, sheen, and ya, there is a gap between the middle part of the tongue and the upper palate. But with jim, there's contact. You remember, of course, I'm not going to explain about jim now. So sheen, ash, middle part of the tongue with what's parallel to it from the upper palate, okay? Ash, try it with me. Ash, ash. There is a spreading for the sound, the fashi. The sound is filling the mouth. Ash, ash, ash. But at the same time, it's not mufaham, because the sound is descending to go outside of the mouth, as you can see here. As you can see here, it doesn't raise towards the palate or the roof of the mouth. Otherwise, it's going to be a heavy or musta'li letter, and then it go as a result of musta'li, it will be mufaham or heavy. No, it's light. Yeah, the sound is filling the mouth. There is spreading of the sound inside the mouth, ash, starting from the articulation point, starting from here, because this is the articulation point. It's the middle, from the middle part of the tongue with what's parallel from the upper palate. Yes? So starting from here, the sound will start from here, go outside to the outside of the mouth. In his way, he will meet the palate of the upper or lower teeth. Teeth, not central incisor, teeth, all the teeth. So the sound will collide with the palate of the upper or lower teeth, and part of it will go out. The part which will collide with the palate of the upper or lower teeth will come back inside the mouth and then go out. And that's why we have kind of spreading the sound in this area. Some said, well, we did explain that echo, the sound will go and come back. Yes, but the echo will happen. Well, the echo will happen when the sound is directed toward the top, the roof of the palate, the roof of the mouth. This sound is directed to go outside. So this is light, but spreading inside the mouth. You see the difference? So ash, shaytan, sha, shu, she, shay. Okay? This is the shin. Okay? That's why shin, it's a letter of rahawa. There is a flow of sound. Ash flow of sound, and it's Ham's letter, flow of breath. Ash. Okay? Because there is already spreading of the sound inside the mouth. Okay? The sound began with shin from the articulation point. The Hams, the majhur letter, their sound beginning from the vocal cords. This is the majhur. While the Hams letters are their sound starting from their articulation point. So shin is one of the letters of فحثه شخص سكت. So it's one of the Hams letter or whispered letter. So its sound starting from its articulation point. To make this point clear, I will pronounce any majhur letter. Like for example, lam. Al, you feel here, if you put your 3 fingers like this, here, what you feel, what you are going to feel. Try it with me kindly. Try it kindly. There is vibration here because the vocal cords, they are going to kind of quiet together. Okay? They are not opened. Okay? While with Ham's letter, like shin, put the 3 fingers also here, where we have the vocal cords. Do you feel any vibrations here? No. So the sound of any mahmous letter, any whispered letter, start from its articulation point, not from the vocal cords. Okay? Fine. Now we go to the next characteristic, which is al-istitala. Al-istitala, or lengthening, it's a characteristic related to letter dod. Dod, only. Let's read first, and then I'm going to explain. Lengthening or al-istitala, it is the slight pushing of the tongue forward when pronouncing the bod, from the back to the front of the mouth, until the tip of the tongue lightly touches the root area of the upper 2 incisors, which is the effect of the air pressing behind the tongue. This is lengthening istitala. Remember, my dear sisters, when we talk about the articulation point of the dot, we said that it's articulated from the edge of the tongue, from all the edge of the tongue, with what lies parallel to it from the upper molars. but there is a pressing area and there is contact area without any pressure. We said that the pressing area is this is the area of pressure, the blue. And the yellow, it is the area where we make contact, but without no pressure. And we said you can make it by pressure from one side, either right or left or from both. All are correct. The important thing that you pronounce the proper dot. The proper dot. It's different from one person to another. So it's you are going to press your tongue, again, the upper molars in this area. And then from the nearest edge to the end of the edge, this is where the tongue is going to make contact with the upper palate without any pressure. Pay attention kindly. If you make pressure here, if you make pressure or you pressed here, you are going to pronounce heavy dal or dal مفخمة until the end of the tip lightly touch the roots of the upper central incisor. So istitala meaning that there is slight pushing of the sound starting from the end from the back of the mouth to its front. And this happened because of the air which is compressed here in this area. In the area where I'm making pressure. In this area, there is air, strong air, and it's compressed. This air, which is compressed in this area, will push the sound to be slightly move towards until it reaches the roots of the upper central incisor. We say slightly pushed. That means that it will not make contact. Not making pressure. It will make contact, but no pressure. Here, I make pressure. Try it with me. When I'm saying I didn't make istitala. You see? That's why I don't have a rakhawa. It's a little of rakhawa. Because it takes time. As a result of istitala, of the lengthening which is happening to the tongue, we have rakhawa. If you do not do the istitala or the lengthening properly, you will not have rakhawa. I will do it now wrongly. This has become a shadid letter, strong letter. While if I say this is rakhawa. You don't have rakhawa. It's a loose letter. Okay? So the characteristics are related to each other. Characteristics are related to the articulation points. If you pronounce the letter properly from its articulation point, you will achieve all the characteristics automatically. You see? I will repeat. If you pronounce or articulate the Arabic letters from its articulation point, from its makhraj, properly, all the characteristics you will have automatically without doing any effort. Okay? Why we explain the characteristics? Because maybe makhraj or the articulation point, you cannot achieve that properly. So characteristics of the sifat will help you. Because here I'm explaining to you how the sound is produced. In articulation point, we explain from where. Here we explain how it is. It's rah. it's مهموس, it's مستعلي, it's منفتح, it's it has تكرار, it has استطالة, all this together, if you master characteristics and articulation points, well, inshallah, you will be able to properly recite Quran as how it was revealed. Okay? This is al-istitala. This is al-istitala or lengthening. Okay? Let's go to the last characteristic of the group of characteristics without opposites, which is going to be al-ghunna or nasalization. Here we are going to talk about al-ghunna or nasalization as a characteristic. Well, why we say as a characteristic? Because if you remember, my dear sisters, we did talk about al-ghunna or nasalization also at the end of the articulation points chapter, also at the end as an articulation point. And we said al-ghunna or nasalization as an articulation point, it's a place, it is the nasal cavity. Yes? And we said that it's part of the body of the pronunciation of noon and meme. Always, regardless, noon and meme having haraka, sukoon, merging, flipping, mushaddad. In all cases, the difference only is in the duration of the ghunna or the nasalization. But always, we have the ghunna inside noon and meme because it's inside. Remember how we pronounce the noon and how we pronounce the meme? Remember? Noon and meme, when we said noon, there are two articulation points. The tongue with, you complete, and the second part, it is the nasal cavity from where we have the ghunna. Meme, lips. This is the first articulation point. Close the lips. Second articulation point is the nasal cavity, from where we produce the ghunna. So ghunna, there is always ghunna with the noon and meme. In all its cases. Difference only in its duration. So let's read. Nasalization al-ghunna as a characteristic. It's a characteristic of the noon and meme. However, they have a haraka, short vowel, or sukoon. However, pronounced is cleared. However, pronounced clearly, merged, idgham, or concealed ikhfa. However, its length differed in accordance with their position, which will be discussed in page 152. And this is where we'll go now to know the duration of one. Just before we go, I would like you to remember the articulation point of noon. This is and of meme. Yes. Okay. The sound noon and meme when we want to go outside from the mouth, and he will be blocked. Articulation point is closed here. So he will go back and go out through the nasal cavity, producing the ghunna. Meme the same. Lips are closed. So we'll go back and go out through the nasal cavity, producing the ghunna. Okay? Durations of ghunna, and this is very important because a lot say that we can't, it's 2 counts, it's what, No, as I explained, always know that it's not, the duration, it's not counted by counts. That's not correct, okay? The duration of ghunna, the durations of the ghunna. The duration of ghunnas have 4 levels. 1, most complete. 2, complete. 3, incomplete. And 4, most incomplete. We are talking about, this is the longest, starting from here. I do need the pen. Yeah, we'll have it here. Okay. This is going to be the longest. And then the second level, and this is the third, and this is the fourth level. So this is the shortest time or duration for غنة. And this is the longest duration for غنة. And then those are in the middle, okay? I will explain. I will read and then explain, okay? Number one, let's clear first. Number one, most complete. When I do have the longest duration or the most complete غنة, it is in the stressed and merged noon and meme. Stressed means مشدد. In the مشدد or stressed and merged مدغم noon and meme. So we have the most complete غنة or the longest duration for غنة when we pronounce noon or meme with شدة, noon or meme with شدة or إدغام or merging. Like when I ولكن noon with شدة. And here meme with شدة. في اليم. This is the longest time. This is the most complete غنة. اليم. And here in إدغام. Here I have an example for إدغام. It's also the most complete غنة. The same time I took to pronounce the noon with شدة or meme with شدة, I will take to pronounce the إدغام, the most complete. فمن يعمل. And also here إدغام. ما لهم من. So the time you take to pronounce noon with shadda, meme with shadda, equals the time you are going to take to pronounce noon or meme when they are merged. Idgham. Equal. This is the most complete. Okay? Number two, complete. It's a little bit shorter. A little bit shorter. Complete, it's in the concealed noon and meme. In the noon and meme when we apply إخفاء. In the noon and meme or with noon and meme when we apply إخفاء. In the concealed noon or meme, as in, like here. The time I'm going to take here is a little bit less than the time I took here. الإنسان. Here, it's also concealed. أنبورك. ترميهم the time of concealed or مخفى or إخفاء noon and meme a little bit less than the time of pronouncing noon with شدة, meme with شدة, and إدغام. Okay, fine. The third level, it's the incomplete غنة. It is in the noon and meme with a sukun and إظهار. It's when the noon and meme have sukun and or إظهار. It's the same. If the noon or meme is having sukun, it means that we are going to apply إظهار. Clear noon and clear meme, as in, like سميع عليم. سميع. Here I'm pronouncing tanween. It's the noon sakina, which is pronounced but not written. سميع. Just the time of an in between letters. Pay attention, my dear sisters. When I pronounce noon with sukun or meme with sukun, the time of the غنة, it is the time of the letter itself, which is an in-between letter, بيني letter. So the time of the غنة, it is the time of بينية. The time of غنة, it is the time of in an in-between letter. Only. Do not extend the time. And do not make it shorter, of course. سميع. Here. أنعمت. Here I have noon with sukun, mim with sukun. Both, they have the time, the duration of غنة, it is the duration of an in-between letter. Only. أنعمت. أنعمت. Do not stretch the time. Here. هم فيها. هم فيها. And of course, فيها. 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 هم فيها. Pay attention. We said when meme is followed by the waw or the fa, pay attention not to apply idgham or merging, because the articulation point are with meme, and aw, the same articulation point. They are sharing the same. And and f, they have closed articulation points. So pay attention to clarify the meme. Hum. Close your lips and give it its time. Otherwise, you will merge it inattentionally. هم فيها. هم فيها. Okay? Okay. And the last level, it's the most, number 4, it is the most incomplete. This is the shortest. It's in the vowel, noon and meme. When noon or meme are having haraka, short vowel. This is the shortest. This is the most incomplete. Like بِسَمَا, ma, بِسَمَا, and pay attention for the mad letter. Ma, we said light letter, the mad letter after alif, after a light letter, that time must be in the complete relaxation or in the rest position, and extra attention after meme or noon. Otherwise, you will pronounce the mad letter with a غنة. I will pronounce it wrongly. بِسَمَا, ma, no. بِسَمَا, lower your tongue to be in the rest position. بِسَمَا, يَأْمُرُكُمْ, mu, إِيمَانُكُمْ. This is the most incomplete duration for the غنة when the noon or meme are having haraka. مؤمنين, meme with kasra and noon with kasra. مؤمنين, because my dear sister, when the Arabic letter have any short vowel, fatha or dhamma or kasra, the duration to pronounce this letter is the duration of the haraka, of the fatha or the dhamma or kasra. Regardless if this letter is originally when it is second rakhwa, loose or in between, baini or strong, qawi, shadid. Because when any Arabic letter have any short vowel, fatha or dhamma or kasra, the duration to pronounce it are equal. Qa, the time I take to pronounce the qaf with fatha, it's shadid letter. Qa equal the time of la, in between letter, equal the time of, for example, sha. This is shadid, this is strong, this is in between, baini, and this is rah, loose. When I pronounce any letter with short vowel, the time are equal. Because here is the time of the short vowel itself, not the time of the letter when it's second. Of course, here we have a very good point to take care of. The proportion among the durations of the غنas remains realized, whatever the speed of reading might be. However, it's تحقيق, realization, or تدوير, moderation, or حدر, quick recitation. Which means when I'm going to when I'm going to say to recite this part with تحقيق, the slowest speed, realization. I'm going to say أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ولكن الله سلم, moderation, which is الحد, which is the second speed. Sorry, تدوير, moderation, تدوير. The time will be less in different speeds of recitation. ولكن الله سلم. Third speed of recitation, quick recitation or الحد, it will be less. ولكن الله سلم. So, of course, it will be different from one speed to another. From one speed of recitation to another. But in the same speed, it is the same. Okay. I think I do have four minutes. I do need to, okay, just, I will take a copy of those 2 pages. They are pages explain about all the Arabic letters and all the characteristics they have. This part is the characteristics with opposites, and the pink part is the characteristics with no opposites. They are all the Arabic letters, this page and this page. I'm going to photocopy them and I will send them in WhatsApp and in Telegram. I hope it will not make a sense because Dr. Ayman Swaid didn't permit to photocopy the book, but only 2 pages. It's okay because it will help you. I think, inshallah, we are not committing any sin. As we said, my dear sister, take care kindly. We said each Arabic letter must have at least 4 characteristics. Look, they are all at least 4, because the Arabic letters must have one of the 4 letters of the characteristics with characteristics with opposites. The Arabic letter must be either majhur or mahmuz, either rakh or bayni or shadid, either musta'li or mustafil, either mufakham or muraqqaq as a result of musta'li or mustafil, either mutbaq or munfatih. Must. So, and after this, they could have any characteristics of the 8 without opposites. Hamza, for example, they are 4 only. Apparent, strong, lowered, opened. Ba, it has 4 plus qalqala. Apparent, majhura, shadida, mustafila, munfatiha, and muqalqala. Apparent, strong, lowered, opened, and qalqala, etc. The Arabic letter which has the biggest number of characteristics, it is the Ra. It has 6. Because the 4 main plus drift, inhiraf, and repetition, tikrar. Ra, it's apparent, in between, lowered, opened, drifted, munharifa, repeated, and mukarrara. This is the Arabic letter which has the biggest number of letters, of characteristics, okay? I will copy them. I'll photocopy and send them in WhatsApp and Telegram, just for you to know it. By the way, never ever memorize this. I don't want you to memorize it. I want you to understand it. This will help you only. Yani for me, if anyone asks me about it, I'm going to think. Up to now, I will never say it as if it's a song. No, tajweed is like math. Don't ever forget this one. Tajweed is like math. Sometimes, yeah, we say memorize this sentence like the letters of tafkhim. Memorize this sentence is the letters of bayniya to be easier for you. But in general, it's math. May Allah bless you by this way. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah, we finished, alhamdulillah, the characteristics chapter. Inshallah, after this, we'll start the chapters where talk about the common mistakes of the Arabic letters. Salamullahi alaykum wa rahmatuhu wa barakatuh. Fi amanillah.